Too much water, it can be fatal to you and I and our dog. It's called water intoxication. Here's what you need to know to prevent this from ever happening to your dog. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Click there to subscribe, hit the bell to sign up for notifications, and then when you click the link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book. It's hard to believe that if your dog consumes too much water, they could be fatally poisoned by it. I had someone write in on one of the social media channels because their dog actually died of water intoxication. I hate to admit that through all those years of veterinary practice, I've never seen a case of water intoxication, and I don't recall ever reading anything in the published veterinary literature, about this being an issue. That too much water could be potentially toxic to your dog. But it really is a thing, and you should be aware of it. So what's happening when too much water gets consumed all at once? Well, specifically what's going on is the blood is diluted. All that water gets consumed, the blood electrolytes get really low. In particular, the sodium level gets especially low. And when this happens, the body is trying to rebalance itself. It's not happy with that low sodium. So what it does is starts taking on additional fluid. So some of the organs will swell with fluid, such as the liver. The brain, it's taking on additional water, but it can't expand. And that can cause some serious critical problems. There's been many documented cases of water intoxication in people, and many people have died of just this, the excessive consumption of too much water in a short period of time. One person died in a radio competition. How much water could they chug in such a short period of time? They got fatal low levels of sodium, resulted in brain swelling, seizures, coma, and then death. So say your dog's consumed an excess amount of water. Say he's been swimming in a lake and he's swimming with his mouth open. He's consumed all this water. Say someone's got out a garden hose and your dog is just drinking and drinking and drinking that water. What do you need to be looking for? The initial signs: lethargy, bloating, vomiting. In people, headaches are a common initial sign. Then you start to see the signs of shock, this loss of coordination, stumbling. They're no longer responsive. They may have these sort of glazed over eyes. Lift up your dog's lips, look at their gums. They're no longer going to be this healthy pink color. They're more going to be white. Then this can progress to neurologic involvement. It's involving the brain. So that's when you're going to see the seizures. You might see these fixed, almost dilated pupils. Your dog can go to a coma, and that's when these dogs die. How is this treated? So the big thing is you're going to your vet clinic. They're doing a blood test to determine the electrolyte levels. They're going to see that sodium is low, then they can make the diagnosis of water intoxication. But the big thing here is you need to be aware of this. So you need to be ensuring that they actually are measuring electrolytes, that they can make this diagnosis and then treat your dog appropriately. Because honestly, it's not a big thing that most veterinarians is going to be high up in the list of differentials. It's just a really unusual condition, and it's not something, normally I would be thinking about. More typically, this would be the summer. You'd be thinking a dog that has heat stroke, not water intoxication. So veterinary treatments would be an appropriate IV fluid in terms of sodium chloride. They're gradually increasing the sodium levels. Secondarily, they'd be giving something like mannitol, something that's going to deal with some of that brain swelling that's going on. Thirdly, a drug like a diuretic like Lasix, furosemide, to help remove all that excess fluid. How can you ensure this doesn't happen to your dog? Fortunately, it really is rare. This is not something that happens very often. Certain breeds seem to be more prone to this. So these are some of the smaller breeds that typically you don't think of as the water breeds. In fact, Labrador Retrievers, Newfies, those that were bred to spend a lot of time in water retrieving, they don't generally seem to have an issue. Watch most Labradors swimming in the water, right? They're really kind of graceful in there. They've got their head up. They're not consuming all this excess water while they're going through that lake. Some of the smaller guys using agility, the Jack Russells, the Papillons, they seem to have a higher incidence. My last big point, just that you're aware of this, right? So if you've got a dog who's just consumed an excess amount of water, he was in the lake swimming, all of a sudden he's just knocked himself, he's kind of staggering and weak, or he was drinking all that water from a garden hose, think water intoxication. Get your dog into the veterinary clinic as soon as possible. Get them to test electrolytes. And if they have low sodium, they probably got water intoxication and they need to deal with it appropriately. Thanks so much for watching this edition on Veterinary Secrets of Water Intoxication in Dogs. Click up there to subscribe. Hit the bell to sign up for notifications. Then when you click the link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book.